Avatar, The Way of the Water. I went to see it, and actually I liked it. But I'm probably in the minority that actually likes the first film, but I prefer the ultimate version rather than the theatrical cut. It's just a better film with a bit more context to the story. And I come out thinking Marvel need to learn from the special effects people in this. Disney in general need to learn from the special at the end of this. B-U-T, not B-U-T-T, before anyone makes that joke. And there's also been some controversy. I'm going to leave it to my friend Andy from TikTok to explain it, because he does it far better than I.
Oh my god. I apologize. This is a whole new level of stupid. At some point, we gotta talk about the cultural appropriation of Avatar and white actors are cosplaying as POC. It's just a mess and so not necessary, and no amount of visual effects CGI is gonna erase that. Bad lace fronts, dry synthetic braids, Jesus, fix it. The stupid. It hurts. Yeah, that's what I thought. So she's upset that a bunch of white people are cosplaying as aliens. Oh wait, no, they're culturally appropriating aliens. Maybe we should ask the Na'vi to see if they're upset about this. Is she trying to say that there are no non-white people in this film? Or is she seriously trying to virtue signal for an alien species that does not exist?
You gotta be fucking kidding.
I'm going to keep this review very spoiler-free because I don't want to ruin it for anyone, so I'm going to do my best to do that. First, I like the writing. I do think the message of this is a little ham-handed here and there, but overall, the writing is good. It feels big, it feels roomy, a lot happens, quite literally. My biggest complaint about it was actually the runtime. It's a very long movie, and I mean that, it's a very long movie. And I feel like you could shave out 45 minutes of this, maybe an hour, and it would still tell a really good film, a really good story, a really good thing. The pacing is a little off, because it is the runtime, the pacing can be a bit off. And sometimes things drag on. I will say that. Like, there are moments in this film you're thinking, can we just move to the next part of the story, please? We know this. And that can be a little bit annoying. When I went to see it, we actually had an intermission. We had a pee break, of all things. Which I don't think, and it's not, in terms of runtime, I have watched longer movies, but because of the pacing issues, it can be a slog in parts. Now, the visual effects are breathtaking. I don't watch movies in 3D or IMAX because I can't watch 3D. It gives me a massive migraine. And last time I saw a 3D movie, I came out the cinema, fell over because the world was spinning, and I threw up, and then was in a dark room for 4 days. So I don't tend to do 3D. I just saw it in 2D. The visuals are stunning. And you look at those special effects from this film and the first film, and it blows anything Disney have done in the last few years out the water. I mean, you cannot tell where the CGI starts, if that makes sense. It's photorealistic, and it's breathtaking. The scenery it's eye candy, and that's the thing about this film. The first one was eye candy as well. Overall, the visual effects are mind-blowing, and the fact that this has had good people behind it and the creative team, like, their reputation is just good, and it shows. Story. Yes, the message is a little ham-fisted in places. There is no way around that. There are some moments you're thinking, okay, this is happening. We know this. And like I said, the pacing can be a little bit off, and there are moments in this film where you're thinking, we could easily trim out 45 minutes and not worry too much. It's a little loose in the pacing. The acting is really good. I mean, the cast in this film do give it their all. And nothing feels fake, despite being um, a visual effects masterpiece. Nothing feels fake. The performances are good. The line delivery is good. Characterization is good. You feel a connection to the characters because it is telling, oddly, a very human story, if that makes sense. It's telling a story that echoes through history, and the way that it's done and handled is just brilliantly done. My buts do come in, and like I said, the runtime is an issue. The pacing is an issue. And because of the length, some of the scenes, especially the ones that drag on, do feel a bit stunted because they're so long that you're thinking, move the story on. We know this, we've done this, we've been here, and unfortunately that is a big kicker in this. I think the editing and the story structure was far better in the original to this one. And I do feel like when this goes onto TV, when it's edited for television, they will probably trim out quite a bit of the fat just to bring the runtime down. And that's completely understandable. Like I said, pee break was needed. Um, but it's a good movie. It's fun, it's enjoyable. I think James Cameron opening his mouth and talking about toxic masculinity and all of this stuff about this movie, and I'm thinking, you have characters in very traditional gender roles that are all strong, that are all can kick ass, and I feel like he was just saying that to appease the people of Twitter. You know, that brain drain. James Cameron can be an amazing director. I mean, Titanic, for example. Oh my god. But I feel like someone should have just said to him, maybe you need to just take some of the fat out of this movie, just trim it down. I feel like there was no one on his shoulder telling him, let's bring this down a little bit. I mean, would I have paid to see this at the cinema? I did pay to see this at the cinema, but you know what I mean by that. I saw it for YouTube. Yes, it is. I mean this. It is one of the best looking films I've seen in a very long time. And ultimately, that's what this film should be. It's meant to be a big, adventurous romp that's eye candy with an epic storyline. That's it. It reminds me a lot of classic science fiction in that sense. A lot of the old pulp science fiction novels come to my mind in this one, and I don't know if that was an influence in this film, but there is that background note to it that just comes through. And overall, I enjoyed it. Is it a 10 out of 10 movie? No. Partly because of the fat and the chunky sections and the length. Again, tighten that edit up. That's my big flaw with this film, is it's just very long and it doesn't need to be. But overall, an enjoyable movie and great fun and definitely worth the cinema tickets. It looks good. It does what it needs to do. It's a little ham-fisted with some of the messaging, but what modern movie isn't? Although in this, I will say the sort of message is background noise rather than the main focus, where a lot of modern films, a lot of Marvel, Disney stuff tends to be all about the message and everything else second, which is a shame. But overall, enjoyed this. But go in there, pray there's an interlude. I mean that. Pray there's an interlude, and see what happens. It's a these special effects people definitely deserve an Oscar. I mean that, like, and I know awards are completely irrelevant, but in terms of just like visuals, this film is worth it. It's stunning. Is it a masterpiece? No. But what film is? There's only a handful of films I would ever give that label to, and this is one of those movies. I think a lot of people are going to watch this on streaming. I think a lot of people watch this when it comes onto television, for the simple reason they can watch it from the comfort of their own home, pause it, and use the bathroom. Let's be real. It and I know I keep saying it, but the length is a thing, and I know like the 3 hour movie has become quite commonplace, but sometimes I feel like that's more done for the director's ego rather than the actual anything else. And I do feel like this just needed someone poking him on the shoulder and saying, "Do you really need this scene? Do you really need this scene to be 10 minutes of someone talking?" No, you don't.